Hey there, Orioles fans. Welcome back to South Baltimore now. Get ready to step up to the plate with us as we go inside the Orioles organization. Today, we're absolutely thrilled to welcome a true insider to our virtual clubhouse, a dedicated member of the Orioles family with an incredible 18-plus years right here with the Orioles. That's right, folks. We are honored to be chatting with Zach Brown, Senior Director of the Baltimore Orioles. Zach has graciously opened the doors of the iconic Camden Yards, offering us a behind-the-scenes look. Zach, thank you so much for inviting us today to learn more about you and the Orioles organization, and leading things off for us is our starting pitcher, Kevin Lynch.
I hope my podcasting mouth is better than my throwing arm if I'm the starting pitcher today.
Yeah. Zach, thank you so much, man. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always great to connect with you guys and to chat for a little bit.
Yeah, this is a really cool setting. We're looking out the window down on the ball field there, which is quiet at times and very loud at times. And we found a nice quiet moment, but we know Zach's going to talk to us about all the times it gets loud and rowdy in here.
Yeah, we're looking forward to plenty more ahead, for sure. Absolutely.
So Zach, tell us about your journey in baseball and working for the Orioles and how it led you to your current position.
Yes, so I started many moons ago when I moved to South Baltimore. Started as an intern here in the PR department. So PR intern for a few months, worked in our phone staff for a few months, ended up doing well enough to get a full-time job as an account executive on the retention side for our membership team. Then from there, I managed the box office for a number of years and managed the retention team, and now I oversee all of our strategic ticketing. So it's been a great journey. I've been really fortunate to be able to stay here for so long and move up along the way.
So when you talk about the strategic ticket journey, what does that mean?
Anything you buy, anytime you buy a ticket, there is a strategy behind it. So memberships, I know we have a lot of people in the South Baltimore neighborhood who are Birdland members. We try to make it a really great value for everyone to come. Your group outings, all the experiences that go along with having a group. We put a lot of thought and effort into it to make the most sense for everybody as they come to the game.
But what's it like to go to work every day in an iconic ballpark like Camden Yards?
It's great. The energy here is unbelievable. Anyone who's in professional sports, generally speaking, but baseball's the longest season for sure. You're working really long hours. And if you don't have the will or the desire to come here every day and get that energy, it's going to be a really tough job. I'm fortunate that I wake up every day, I get to come here. I feel lucky that I'm coming here every day. You know, having an office in the warehouse, to ride my bike here from the neighborhood. It's just a great experience all around. And really game days even ramp me up another level. Like I get a high energy from a game day experience, and the crowd here, for me, there's nothing better.
And obviously you were a fan growing up, and obviously you're still a fan of the team, so I'm sure you've seen some pretty cool moments in this stadium, maybe in some other stadiums as well. So what are some of your biggest memories as an Orioles fan?
Yeah, let me start with one as a kid, since I am a lifelong fan. When I was a kid, we grew up and my dad was really resistant to get cable TV for a long time. That was one of the things I wanted as a child. But I remember Game 4, 1996, ALDS, we played the Indians, and they were the Indians at the time, so that's okay. Those were up at the beginning, but then they blew the lead. Can't remember the exact details, but I remember my dad, who wasn't that big of a fan, but liked to give him a hard time for sure. He said, there's no chance they're ever coming back. They blew it. And I said, I bet you cable TV that they come back. And sure enough, they came back, tied it in the ninth, won it in extras. And maybe 3 years later, he made good on his promise. I think I was 15 or 16 by the time we got it. But yeah, it was really one of those iconic moments I think of as a kid, just back to the Orioles.
I think I leveraged one of my birthdays to get HCS for the house, which was the premium carrier of the Orioles back in the 90s.
I recall Michael Regai, and
I can certainly relate to that.
And then here, we've had so many great moments, so many great people that I've worked with over the years, but probably most iconic moments thinking about postseason and thinking about this club. 2014 was just an unbelievable year, and that ALDS moment that everybody talks about where Delman Young hit the double and the place was shaking, and if you look at the camera, it's just shaking over and over when JJ scores. And I remember I'd just gotten out of the box office, sitting in the bleachers with Jackie, my wife, and our oldest son, who was 9 months old at the time. And the place is as loud as I've ever heard it, for sure. and he has the big headphones on because he's a baby and dead aslep. I just remember looking down, everything's going crazy. I look over, he's sitting on Jackie, just dead asleep, and I'll never forget that moment. And then 2012, I think, is my other one that probably is my most iconic. That year, we definitely weren't supposed to make the playoffs. We were supposed to finish last. It was actually the year we put all the statues out in Legends Park. I remember that whole year, we never thought we were going to make it. And then all of a sudden, we're there. First American League wildcard game that ever existed. Orioles go to Texas. And it was a Saturday, as I recall. You know, we're throwing Joe Saunders versus Yu Darvish, who was having a fantastic year, and the Rangers were just coming off the World Series. I feel like the betting odds against us were significantly high. We end up winning that game. I get a call from my boss at the time, and all he says is, "I'll see you at work tomorrow." And I'd never been happier to come into work the next day because we immediately hosted the Yankees, started a playoff run, and took them to 5 in that series. And, you know, didn't go any further, but man, that was unbelievable time. And first time I was here for the playoffs, so really sticks out.
I remember the Delman Young game. It was pretty early in the day following a night game. So a lot of people in the stadium were a little tired and maybe hungover that day. It was a slow game until that rally happened. And it was almost like people were sort of there, they're tired, they're sort of on edge. And then that moment happens and it just like unleashed everybody's anxiety and stress. And I'm sure you've seen it, but there's like a YouTube video of somebody had like a cell phone camera, I think from the Zenith apartment building back there. And like their camera was like shaking, like just from the noise a block away. So that was cool. And then and I remember we hosted that series against the Yankees, and we hadn't hosted a playoff game in 14 years. That game was delayed by like 2 hours by rain. The second game might have been delayed a couple hours by rain, too. It was just like, what's 14 years plus 2 hours? Nobody left. I think we lost that game, but everyone was just so happy to be there. I remember walking around the concourse, and I must have seen 20 people I went to high school with that I hadn't seen for 15 years that probably had the same thought that I had. I'm not missing this game.
Yeah, I think it's great, man. At these special moments for the Orioles, I think it does bring the community, the city, the region together for this shared goal, this love of this club, and to be a part of that's really special.
I certainly think a lot of people that are a little older didn't grow up without the Ravens around, so it was really all about the Orioles back then. So I know there's just so many people that have such a connection with the Orioles and so badly want the next pennant to hang at the stadium, hang at their wall, and hopefully that happens soon and add to those memories. Now, I know you guys are always coming up with creative and fun ideas to have fun in the ballpark, ways to get people in the ballpark. So what are some of the things on the schedule for this year that you're specifically excited about?
I think generally we're really focused on the fan experience, and you've probably seen that over the past few years. More and more things we do are focused on having that great time in the ballpark. This year, I think we did a great job with the expansion of the bird bath, you know, an area that we sold out so quickly all of last year that it was hard for people to experience it. So being able to add a whole nother section and really expand on that platform was a big initiative that we're excited about. And we've had some really fun groups come out and try to like take it over. We see that as a really fun iteration of that space where people are going to be using it to do their own thing. And certainly out in left field as well, we've got the home run porch now. So I think that's something that we'll probably build as we go, but for anyone to be able to buy a ticket in those sections right behind it and send your kid down with his or her glove to try to catch a home run for the game, that's pretty cool.
Was Ryan Mountcastle the architect and designer of a shorter wall and the home run porch?
I don't think he opposed it. That's what I could say. I don't think he did. Yeah, I think as they did it, it just made us play a little more neutral. We were probably playing a little pitcher friendly for the past few years.
Sure. Are there any giveaways that happen in the stadium that your kids are like, Dad, you've got to get me one of these?
Yeah, it's funny. They certainly liked the Oriole bird plush this year. We all came to that game. Hawaiian shirt is always a big fight in our house over who gets it, including my wife. Usually all three of them want that. I think some of the other things, I don't go through the promotions with them because I don't want to get the requests in advance, but bobbleheads are always popular. They always like the creative bobbleheads. I haven't brought home the Star Wars ones yet, but I think that'll really appeal. We're doing a lot more targeted promotions this year with themes. One that Ian's definitely excited about is Pokemon Go Night, where we're going to have special activations within the app, special Pokemon you can only find here at the ballpark, and it's going to come with an exclusive t-shirt for everyone who buys the ticket package. He is very geared up for that one, I can say, for sure. But I think all of our theme nights are really interesting. We're doing a Build-A-Bear concept where you can build your own. We're doing some heritage nights.
Like build a Oriole bird?
You build an Oriole bird, yeah. We're doing a lacrosse night where you get an exclusive penny with the package. So we're doing a lot of things that are appealing to other markets, to other people who might not always think Orioles baseball first, but we want them to be here and experience the ballpark.
Very cool. Hawaiian shirt night has become iconic around here, and in the ballpark, it's almost like 1 out of every 5 people seems to have one of the Orioles Hawaiian shirts on. I love that that's become part of our theme. And yeah, looking at some of those things, that Hispanic Heritage Night hat looks really cool. I definitely want to see if I can get that one. That one looks like a good time.
Yeah, I was looking at that design the other day, and I'm pretty excited about that. And even with the Hawaiian shirt this year, we ended up splitting it across 2 dates so that we could capture more people to come for that item. So it's going to be exciting to have it on a Tuesday and a Saturday this year.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So now if people had giveaway ideas, would they submit those directly to you?
We do a survey every year to try to gauge interest. And we are looking at different concepts. We've done these over the years where fans vote on certain things, especially as it relates to T-shirt designs and things. We really want our fan input on those, so we really continue to do that.
I heard hockey jersey night was a huge line out to Utah Street and everything to try to get in that night.
Hockey jersey night was really crazy. I mean, we got great weather, but the item definitely drove a lot of that in advance, even before we knew the weather was going to be great. I think it was first time in a long time that we've had a non-opening day sellout during the week in April.
Awesome.
Pretty impressive.
What are some of the factors that can make your job easier?
Yeah, I think when people get excited about the team, it makes a big difference. But really for us, it's about the fan experience. I think it's easier to sell a ticket when somebody's come here and they've had a great time. It makes people want to come back. And so that's why we are super hyper-focused on what the experience is like here. We're even doing a lot more things internally, analyzing fan feedback on that experience and really taking action right away. It's been impressive, some of the things we've reacted to quickly this year to really increase it. I think it's about how we treat people. I hope that everybody, when they come to the ballpark, feels like they're heard, taken care of, and treated in this welcoming way, because that's the goal of the Orioles. We think that's what will bring people back more than anything else.
Having a large family, nothing is cheap these days. Like everything I get invited to, if you're looking at 20, 30, 40, 50, sometimes $100 a head to do stuff. I really love that the Orioles is still like one of the most affordable things I can do with my family. The kids can go for free at certain times. Sometimes there's tickets for $20 or less. And I'm really into the Birdland value meal, the $5 beers, and some of the discounted things where it can really take the stress off of going to a game. Where it's like, all right, we're in the game. How many extra $100 are we going to spend over there? So it really is nice to think, yeah, I would like another beer. And when it's $5, it's not something you have to really think twice about versus when it's $14 or $15. Do I really need that? So I've really enjoyed that experience this year to just take the stress off of running up the credit card charges while I'm here.
Yeah, and I think that's what we want, right? We want that experience for everyone. Of course, we're going to have some tickets that are on the higher end or that provide a different experience, but we want to have something where everybody can come. And the value menu is a great example of that for sure. We've heard great feedback on it so far. And even when we were testing it in the off season, we thought, wow, this really is a value. Like, it's not just a value printed word.
Yeah.
When you get here and you get the items, I think it feels like it's a true value.
Yeah.
Sure. And I know you have a lot of new coworkers in the warehouse that have probably helped come up with some of these ideas, especially in the C-suites. A lot of new people with executive level jobs with the team. So just talk about some of the new business strategies going on here with this new David Rubenstein ownership group.
I'll just say, as someone who's been here a long time, I've been really lucky to work with a lot of great people over the years. Some are still here, some are not, but it's been a great place to work with really great people for a long time. The new group that has come in is no exception to that. And a lot of the things they're doing are helping us modernize a few things and push ahead. While the Orioles are great now, I think there is an ability for us to be even better. And as Orioles fans, I'm sure people want to see us win a World Series, right? I think that is the goal, organizationally, top to bottom. I can't throw. I'm hitting kids in Little League, so I don't think you want me to throw to Major Leaguers.
That's not true. I have bragged about Zach's batting practice arm many times.
But I think at the same time, we're all driven to the same goal. We want to win a World Series. We want to bring that to the city. I think the new ownership group has a strong desire to do that. And the changes they're making are all driven towards that goal. We need the support of the community to get there too. Like if nobody comes to games, that affects our ability to do other things and limits the ability of this team to really compete. It's all connected. I think it's our job to make people want to come to games, especially a big part of mine. But I hope that our fans feel they are a part of this. When they are buying a ticket to a game or buying food at the concession stand, that is something that helps us in the long run to be a better, more successful franchise.
And it's pretty quiet in the stadium right now, but it sounds like there's plans for it to get very loud around here on non-game days as the Orioles are embarking on a renovation of this stadium that's over 30 years old. I know this week you guys launched your website to keep people up to date on the renovations. Big new scoreboard in center field, some ribbon boards, and I know when it comes to your job, there's going to be some different types of tickets one could buy in the future with some of these new amenities and new spaces that will be coming. So is there anything you can tell us about what type of tickets and in-game experiences people might expect in the future?
We're going to be super focused on the fan experience, and the scoreboard announcement is no exception. I think anyone who's been to other ballparks would probably tell you that our scoreboard's a little lacking compared to those, and it hasn't been lost on us, certainly. So we're trying to modernize and make this one of the best experiences. The sound system got a Band-Aid this year, but you'll see more improvements on that as well, we were talking about. Really, other things, I think more is ahead. Now, I would recommend anyone to sign up for that website to hear it as it's launched, but I think we'll have things that appeal to everyone, right? Our goal is going to be to have high-end products that really appeal to certain groups and really deliver on this exceptional, inclusive experience, and then making the general game experience better for everyone with more updates is a key component. I think you're going to see a lot of that as we move forward.
And I know you have a lot of colleagues around Major League Baseball in the country, and you've been to a lot of places. Is there any road trips you would really recommend for an Orioles fan to see a cool stadium, have a good time, get a good fan experience?
It's a great question. I think there's a few, certainly. We have some great ones close to us. I really like going up to Philly. Boston is iconic. Pittsburgh is fantastic. The Braves did a great job with their renovations. Went out to see the White Sox last year with the family. I thought that was a great place too. And I was just in Minnesota, and that was one that impressed me as well. I'd never been there before. Honestly, I think it's hard to go wrong, in my opinion. I'm partial to Camden Yards, certainly, but I do think some other places with different concepts, open concourse and different amenities that they've come up with are really creative and doing some really neat things that I'm sure we're going to pull from as we try to enhance the fan experience.
Am I correct in thinking, though, that Camden, if I think back to being a kid in Virginia in 1992, watching Camden Yards open up, this was the ballpark that started it all for modernization, just giving a better fan experience?
That's the story I know.
Yeah. It's funny, you go to some of these other places, and a couple I just point out, White Sox and Twins, and you get there and you look at the seats. Yeah. It's very similar. You can tell that they took this concept from us, and part of the iconicness or reason is Baltimore was the one to pull people back downtown. There was an exodus of downtown ballparks before this came right smack in the middle of the city, and as somebody who lives in the city and likes that experience, there's nothing I'd rather have. It makes it amazing for people in our neighborhood to be able to walk over here.
Yeah, I don't know that I would live in South Baltimore if these two stadiums weren't put here, because I think it certainly was a huge jolt of caffeine into bringing more investment into Federal Hill and Otterbein and all those places. And obviously, I'm a huge sports fan, so having sports be a huge part of the fabric of the neighborhood I live in is just always at the top of my list when people ask, why do I love South Baltimore? We'll get to why you love South Baltimore in a minute, but some of your colleagues around MLB, are they a little bit jealous that you get to be at Camden Yards? Because I know this is just such a revered ballpark around the country. So do you hear a lot of positive feedback about our stadium from around the league?
Yeah, I was at a league conference with a lot of colleagues, and I had a number saying, I got to get down to Baltimore. I can't wait to see the ballpark. I guess I'll be using some comp tickets on some colleagues in the near future. But look, I think we're really lucky, especially just the whole fabric of life as I see it. I don't spend an hour commuting somewhere. I spend 6 minutes on my bike to get here. And that way I can get to Little League on time and make those things happen. And that's a big deal for me, certainly. I think some of the other neighborhoods around ballparks aren't quite as friendly for that type of thing. And so, yeah, I hear it from a lot of others. They love this place and always want to come and visit, and certainly feel lucky that I'm a part of it.
Yeah, I think it's cool for the players too. I like to ride my bike and take rides around the Harbor Promenade, and I'm always seeing players from the Orioles just walking around, players from the other teams walking around. Where obviously the Orioles are here and they get to see that whatever one's expectations are of Baltimore, they probably know it differently because they're living a pretty cool lifestyle here. But even when last week I saw a player from the Royals and a couple of different players from the Yankees just taking a stroll around Harbor East, and that's got to be pretty cool to be like a mile from the ballpark and just endless waterfront to walk around and check out, endless restaurants. You could literally get to where you're going by water taxis. So I like, too, that everybody that sort of comes here as a player and opposing player probably gets a pretty good view of how Baltimore can be a pretty cool place.
Yeah, I totally agree. Harbor East has had this renaissance in the last 4 or 5 years, especially. Our neighborhood certainly has these great things that are happening. Renovated cross street market to a lot of great restaurants. I've lived in the neighborhood for 18 years-ish. To see the changes from the quality of food that we get is unbelievable. You can go out to any place, I think, and just get a really high quality meal, and I love that part about our neighborhood.
Right. And then it reflects here in the stadium, right? You've got so many vendors here that have establishments around Baltimore, which is amazing. So you're promoting within the confines of the field, those local businesses as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, we've got an Ekabin now, and that's right in the neighborhood too. I couldn't have been happier when they moved into our neighborhood and have it right here at work too.
Dangerously delicious they are.
You moved here and you haven't left at this point, and you've been here 18 years. What do you love about living in South Baltimore? What are some of your favorite parts of the neighborhood?
At the end of the day, all the things we talked about are really important, but it comes down to the people. We've been able to make this great group of people here that we have this connection with and shared goals, it feels, and people who care about the community. And you see that from school fundraisers to just kids' sports to everything we do here. And it just feels really special to be a part of that and play a small role in kind of the things that are happening. But yeah, it always comes down to the people for me. And that's one reason I love being at the ballpark, because I love being around the people. When there's 40,000 here, it energizes me, and the neighborhood's no different. I feel really lucky to have a really good group, especially with some of my kids' classmates. The parents we've all really gotten along very well, and it's been an unbelievable experience here.
I never say it, but when somebody will post to Facebook every once in a while, like, oh, I just moved here, struggling to find new friends, I'm always like, oh, adopt a 5-year-old. More friends than you ever need real quickly. But yeah, it's certainly a fun neighborhood to be in. I know you're also involved in the South Baltimore Little League, so is that cool to see baseball at its earliest and at its top level all in the same day sometimes?
It's great. Yeah, I love it. I think the same things I like about being in a leadership role here at work translate so well to coaching Little League. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. I like the kids. I like developing them. I like trying to figure out how do we make each other a little bit better at the end of this season. And I think the thing I always try to hang my hat on the most is, does the kid come back and play again next year after I coached them? And usually they do, so that's a good sign, I think. And it's fun to really get involved, and especially as it's moved up, it gets even more fun to see kids really developing and making strides, in their game. And just as human beings, like seeing them grow from a kid you coached when they were 6 or 7 all the way till they're 10, 11, 12. It's fun to see these kids grow up.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of these days, a South Baltimore Little Leaguer will be playing in the stadium.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
That league has made some tremendous strides and really unbelievable product that it's putting out there now.
And since you bring it up, I learned recently that there's a player named Dominic Freeberger who went to FSK, who played at South Baltimore Little League, who is in the Orioles system right now. I don't know if Dominic will make it to this field we're looking at right here, but at South Baltimore Little League, we have over 600 players, and it's more bottom-heavy than it is top-heavy. Never say never. That would certainly be awesome if one of those players made it onto that field. And we had Steve Clevenger from Pigtown. Yeah. He made it to the Orioles, obviously. Al Kaline Field is one of the fields in South Baltimore that could use some love, but exists. I think Babe Ruth's parents owned a bar within a block of here or something like that.
It's not too far.
We'll keep building that legacy of baseball in Baltimore, but there's certainly some good people like Zach working hard to make sure kids are getting the right resources to develop their game.
It's fun, man. We've been really lucky to have such a great group there, great leadership group in the South Baltimore Little League community that's done a great job. I don't even have to do any of the scheduling, which seems like the real bear. So the people who are putting all the work in on that are doing a tremendous job. I just get to show up and coach kids every now and again. It's great.
Thanks for having us here. This is really cool, and we're all rooting for your job to just get easier and easier by, bunch of World Series and MVP awards for your players, and
Hopefully everybody here is ready to come out and get into some games this year if they haven't done it yet.
We appreciate it, Zach. From Little League to Major League, we appreciate all your input and insight and, just a little sneak peek behind the dugout here at Camden Yards.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.